When she returned home, she was heavily brought back to her harsh reality that it was not as safe there as back outside. Still, though, her boyfriend was a better option than the strange boy. But she couldn't get any sleep that night. Of course not. She didn't know what the boy had meant by most all of what he had said. Who was his sister, and what did he mean by collection? She knew she didn't want to know. She flinched at the sound of her alarm blaring before she quickly shut it off. Her boyfriend didn't stir at all, and she let out a sigh of relief. She figured he drank a bit too much that night, but she wasted no time in preparing for work. It had already hit the afternoon when she finished her usual morning routine. She wasn't at all uneasy about running into trouble, as the neighborhood was especially active that time of day. But she knew she couldn't be entirely sure of who this sister of his was. For all she knew, his sister was already watching her. Though, despite her thought, her day went on as normally as most others. She went to work, kept out of trouble for her moody boss, avoided her coworkers, and just as she was able to take her break, she went outside and took a deep breath. Looking into the sky, she couldn't help but think herself silly. For all she knew, this could all just be some sick prank. After coming to terms with this, she felt a little bit better. Meow. The girl looked down in surprise. A very fluffy and small black cat peered up at her form from under the table. "Hello," she greeted warmly and upbeat. She was surprised to even see a stray in her area, as it was known to be overrun by coyotes. But she certainly wasn't complaining. Slowly and carefully, she eased off the bench, so as to not scare it off. But when it remained where it stood, she squatted down to be as unintimidating as possible and on its level. When outstretching her hand, she cooed warmly at the animal. She expected it to be untrusting, but was surprised at it approaching her crouched form immediately, albeit slowly. When it was close enough to her, she saw a dark gray bow tied around its neck and dangling loosely across her back, and hanging from either side of her curling long fur. Now that was strange. If this cat was a pet, which was obvious through its open behavior and bow accessory, it was most unusual to be out in the neighborhood and in pet unfriendly territory.